What's up, fellas? I put this video together to show you some of the lifts that have really helped me become a better athlete, a better football player. You know, I've done the linear training, the bench press, the squats, and it's good at giving you weight room strength, but it doesn't really translate into football. The guys that I played with that were the strongest in the weight room were not the best football players, and the best football players weren't always the strongest guys in the weight room. It's all about having full body strength. It's not just having strong legs, strong arms, strong back. It's strong everything, and you have to be able to put a force from the ground through your feet, legs, hips, core, back, shoulders, and arms. So everything has to be strong. Everything has to be coordinated together. So that's why I think it's best to work out all body parts at once. I mean, your biggest muscle is your ass, and you have to have a strong ass to be a good football player. I mean, that's your biggest spring. These lifts really focus on just getting a connectiveness between your brain and your muscles and training them to be fast and to fire in the way that you want them to fire in the football field, so you can just focus on your responsibilities and your body will naturally play fast and aggressive and explosive. So,
and low.
If you guys could work these into your regular workouts, I think you'd really benefit from it. Give it a try. I like to warm up just by firing my hips. Your dick should swing. You can laugh at my schneedle, but you want to throw your hips forward, squeeze your ass at the top, like that. Bam. And then you can grab a couple weights. These are just 10 kilos, and just swing it all from your hips. Your arms are just holding them, keeping them from hitting your knees. It's all just hip swing. You pop in your hips all the way forward, using your big spring in your hips and your knees. It's important that you don't let your shoulders go too far forward. You don't want to bend over. You want to keep your back as vertical as possible. So keep your shoulders back and bend at your knees. Don't bend at your hips. I like to do this just to get warmed up for cleans. Just get your muscles firing fast. It's about being quick and explosive. It's not about big, strong, and slow. I used to be big, strong, and slow, and it made me a shitty football player. Being fast is what it's all about. Alright, talking about cleans. It starts with a good deadlift. You gotta pick it up with good form, always. Make sure everything feels good, your feet are square, and bam, pull that fucker as high as you can. Pop the hips, shrug the shoulders, your arms don't do any of the work. They stay completely straight. All your hands do is hold the weight. All the work is done by your hips, your back, and you're shrugging your shoulders. When you pop it up over your head, it's again all through their hips, your hands just hold it. Watch the pull. Watch how high that my shoulders pull. It's the same motion I did in the warm-up. My hips are completely extended, my knees are extended, my ankles are extended, but my feet are on the ground. My shoulders are shrugged, and now the weight's flying up, and all your arms do is get under it to catch it. You know how I always talk about extending your elbows? This is extending your elbows. Get them locked out, firing them out fast to throw the offensive lineman off you. You guys got to get better at this. Bench press is a great weight room lift, but it doesn't really translate to the football field because you're never pushing a guy all the way from your chest. All you're doing is extending your arms. You got to get your arms strong and they're fully extended so you can lock them out and keep the offensive lineman away from you. Okay, up the weight, 110 kilos. Form stays the same, feet stay planted. It all comes through the hips and the back. Boom, pull it as high as you can and just drop under it. I've seen some of you guys do a grip strength training by just holding dumbbells. This is how you work your grip, catching weights that are falling. But when it comes down to it, the most important aspect of a clean is just the pull. Bam, that little motion right there, getting explosion from the ground all the way through your shoulders and getting that weight moving up fast. Catching it isn't even important, it's the pull that matters. That pull wasn't that great because my hands are tired, but it's a good hand workout. Alright, while you're giving your back and hips a rest, go back and work on your arms. Work on extending and locking those elbows. This is about 400 pounds. No, I'm not going for my chest, but you don't need to. You should never get close enough to an offensive lineman where you have to push them away from your chest. You always keep separation. Always get your arms extended. If you can't do this, you can't be a good D lineman. Okay, we've upped the weight again to 150 kilos. This time I'm doing a switch hand grip, just working a pull. Bam. Don't even worry about catching it. This is a great way to improve your clean strength. You're just focusing on the pull. You don't even have to worry about catching it. Still extend your hips and get that weight going high. Also an outstanding workout for your grip strength. Last year I broke a bone in the front part of my foot, but was still able to improve my clean strength by doing these, just doing it through my heels. You want to work out your full body at once, this is how you do it. From the ground through your ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips, back, shoulders, everything, flexing at once. Okay, now we're going to give our upper back a rest and just work out our lower back. Boom, deadlift. You should have your weight on your heels this time. See how my toes are up wiggling? That tells me I'm doing it right. My weight's through my heels. I pick it up slow, set it down slow, but pop it at the top and extend my hips forward. Don't even worry about shrugging it. Just get your hips forward. Also pull your shoulders back. This helps you keep a flat back when you're playing football. You can't have a rounded back because you can't properly transfer force to the ground. Okay, now that your back's tired, you still want to work out your legs. This is a great way to do that. You can keep your back almost vertical, and this really works your very upper thigh muscles and helps you to be able to play football low. The low man always wins. If the guy's bigger than you, you play lower, you can lift him up and control him. This just makes your muscles stronger so you can play in a low position all game long. Along with your ass, this muscle I'm grabbing is what really gets worked out with this.
Filming.
Again, get used to playing low. Get a light weight, get a wide, balanced stance, work your feet. Get used to playing down here. You gotta get strong in a low position or you're just gonna stand up when you get tired. Gotta get your muscles used to playing low. Be light on your toes, bounce around. Just get used to it.
You're just switching your feet again from that angle.
I'm tired.
Okay.
This is a great lift because you can really just explode without worrying about controlling the weight. Notice how I stagger my feet, the back leg gets completely extended, and switch the feet. You have to get really low to get underneath it. You switch your feet, do a balanced stance, staggered stance, flat back, extend the hips at the top. If I had more room, I'd pop my arms all the way up, but the thing's not tall enough. But It's a great way to work your hips. And now outside, bam, this is like coming out of your stance. You're pushing through the ground. You're also getting a workout with your arms, but the force is going all the way from your feet to your hands. When you get low and you push an offensive lineman up like this, you can control his fat ass. This is just an outstanding workout. It does all your muscles and once again teaches you how to fire your hips and stay low and push through the ground. I love being on the ball to give my abs just a workout, also loosen up my back, but just get coordinated. Crunches I think are a waste of time because when are you ever in a crunch position playing football? Usually your back is flat, so you have to have strong core with your back flat. A lot of times I'll hold a weight when I'm doing this as well, but I was pretty tired at this point. And then take your feet off the ground and just roll around the ball and stay balanced. Your core, your muscles all have to fire together. Just bounce around, make it difficult. If you have to put your hand or foot down, it's fine. But make it a challenge. Get your body used to staying balanced, everything working together. Again, the theme, staying low, being quick when you're in a low, balanced squat position. The ball is a great way to work your hands so you have your head up, looking at the quarterback. An offensive lineman's trying to chop you, you shove his ass into the ground. Get your hands active. They always have to be working. You're staying low. Your feet are quick, wide stance, flat back, active hands. That's what you need. This is always just great to bounce around in a low position. You're probably wondering where the hell I came up with this stuff. Did I learn it at the University of Michigan? No, I didn't. In fact, the worst training I did in my life was at the University of Michigan because it was based on a program that was started in the 1970s. And they figured that since we kept winning games, the strength program must have been good when, by the time the 2000s came around, we were probably the most obsolete strength program in the country. So let me tell you about what my history is of strength training, how my body has changed based on my training, and why this is the best thing you can do as a defensive lineman to be good at football. And this is my brother Joey, who's a year ahead of me. We played football together through high school and at University of Michigan. He's 16 years old in this picture. When we were in high school, we had an outstanding training program that made us explosive athletes. A year later, he won the state championship in shot put, beating guys that were much bigger than he was. He only weighed 200 pounds. When he lined up to throw, the guys laughed at him, saying, "This guy can't throw the shot put," and he would just bomb it 10 feet farther than these gigantic guys would. And then he'd go over and run the 100-meter sprint and beat the little black guys. The next year, he won the shot put title again, and the discus title, and set a state record in the discus throw that has yet to be broken. He was so much better than everyone else, not because of his technique, but because we had this strength program in place that made us explosive athletes. The next year it was my turn. I became the new champion, and it was all because of the training. My technique was not very good. We got started in this program when we were 14, and by the time we were 18, we could each clean and jerk over 300 pounds, snatch over 230 pounds. I could squat 475 pounds, but my bench press was barely 315 pounds. I weighed about 230 pounds in this picture. By the time I got to the University of Michigan, I was about 20 pounds heavier. That's 2 months later. They told me I needed to be big and strong to play football at Michigan, and I said, "Okay, I believe you. You guys know what's best." So I did everything they told me. I gained weight and I worked out. I could bench press 225 20 times when I first got there. 2 years later, I could bench 225 over 30 times. I could bench 275 21 times, and I weighed 275 pounds. But I was not a good football player. I had no strength in my core because they didn't let us do squats. They didn't let us do deadlifts. They didn't let us do cleans. All the things that made us great athletes in high school were no longer available to us. They would punish us if we tried to do it without their permission. This made it so that we did not become the athletes that we should have been. We weren't as athletic as we were in high school. We were big, strong, and slow, and that did not make for a good football player. Thus, we couldn't beat teams like USC because they had explosive programs. Can you guess who this little guy is? That's me, 3 years later. I weighed about 220 pounds. This is what happens when you stop working out and you stop eating. The weight just falls off you. Shit, I was living on the beach in California. What did I need to be big for? I got a lot of exercise playing beach volleyball, and I started working out again, but when you don't eat, you're not going to get bigger. So I did get stronger, but I stayed small and lean, and it felt great. 2 years later, I had a girlfriend living with me. And what happens when you have a girlfriend? You grow a mullet because you don't care if girls think you're hot. You get soft because your girlfriend's feeding you a shitload of food and you don't care about working out. So this is what happens. You get soft and a little flabby. This is a path that many Americans take and they never get off, so they end up getting to 500 pounds. But I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend and got skinny again. Since I didn't have a girlfriend, I wasn't getting fed like crazy, and I lost a lot of weight because I was jogging a lot and playing beach volleyball. I would run 3.5 miles, do a workout on the beach, and then run 3.5 miles back, and I got really skinny. I got down to about 215 pounds. It felt really good, but at some point I got a little too skinny, and people started saying, "Dude, are you sick or something?" So I said, "All right, I'm going to work out and get big again." I started eating twice as much as I was, as well as taking protein and creatine. And I started a unique strength program where I'd work out very hard with very heavy weights, but give myself a lot of rest so my muscles could recover. When I first started, I could bench 225 6 times. Within 6 months, I'd put on over 20 pounds. My bench press had gone from 6 reps to over 30 reps. I could rep 275 21 times like I could in college, but I was 30 pounds lighter. It's pretty amazing that I was this light, but still as strong as I was in college. And really the reason is because I let myself rest. In college, they were pounding us every day, practice, working out, no recovery at all. But when it came down to it, I was just training to look good. I worked out my chest and my abs, my shoulders, my arms, but I still did explosive training with my legs. I was doing cleans, I was doing jumps. Eventually, I got to a point where I said, I'm sick of working out just to look good. So I decided to start training for football. And what's funny is in this picture, I weigh the same that I do now, but I look much bigger in this picture. Where'd the weight go? It went down to my ass and my legs. Because when it comes down to it, that's where your football power comes from. Your ass and your core. Your arms don't need to be this big or strong. Throwing a lot at you, but I guess the moral is I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know what's best for me. I've been fat and strong and slow. I've been skinny and been able to run. And really it comes down to a balance of strength and speed. You need both in the proper balance. Bench press is only good so you can tell other dudes, "I bench press, blah, blah, blah." But it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you a good football player. Having control of your muscles and your body is what makes you a good football player. I've been about this big since I was 17 years old. I could run a 4.57 when I was 225 pounds. My 20-yard shuttle time was under a 4.1. I could bench press 185 pounds about 30 times. This is when I was 17 years old. But I did not have the best control of my body. I played football way too high. I didn't have the coordination I needed, and I didn't know when to rest my body. So now that we're in the season, it's really important that you let your body recover. That's why it's good to do light and explosive training, because really you're training your brain to control your body, because your muscles and your bones need that time to recover. You take a lot of pounding in practice, so you don't want to take sore muscles from practice and go work them out in the gym really hard. But you can still train the coordination between your brain and your muscles. This is what I didn't have when I was younger. I learned a lot of this when I was at the University of Michigan, but I didn't have the athleticism to really use it. That's why I didn't play as much as I should have. So my main point is this: don't work on your weight room strength. Work on your football strength. Practice the motions that you'll be doing on the football field. Staying low, extending your arms, firing your hips, driving through the ground. Work on these and you'll see it on the football field. So maybe you won't be able to bench as much as if you do bench press 3 times a week. But it doesn't matter. That's not going to make you a better football player. Squats are good to build muscle, but you're driving through your heels. You don't drive through your heels playing football. So you really want to make the most of your time in the gym and give your body time to recover, because the season takes a toll on your body. You're not really going to gain muscle during the season. Your body's always trying to recover, and then bam, you have practice. It recovers a little bit, then bam, you work out. You got to take care of your body. I didn't take care of my body, and my foot broke because I pounded it. And then I said, oh, my foot's broken, but I want to keep playing. So it broke even worse and worse. It took me over 2 years to recover from a broken foot. I'd have 2 major surgeries where they took bone from other parts of my body. They put 2 screws in it and drilled holes in the bone so that blood would flow and heal it. If it didn't work the second time, I would have never been able to play sports again. So take care of your bodies.